Hello, everybody. I don't know if you guys can hear me. If you pop on, let me know if you can hear me or if you can see me. It's kind of loud where I am right now. Oh, that's pretty. It's kind of loud where I am right now. So as you are popping in, let me know if you can see me or if you can let me know if you can see me and you can hear me. Hey, Cece, how are you? Thank you so much for joining me. Hop on. Let me know if you can see me and if you can hear me, because it's quite loud where I am right now. So I just want to make sure that you can see me and hear me before I actually get started, because what I have to say is super duper duper important, and I want to make sure that you can hear it, and I want to make sure that you don't miss it. Because what I'm going to say it quickly, and I'm going to hop in and out. So if you can hear me or see me, I know you can see me, but if you can hear me and you can hear me clearly, just, throw some thumbs up and say yes and yes. Hey, Talisha, thank you so much for joining me this evening. Thank you. Okay, so let's talk about this. So I'm sitting here. I actually came here to get my lashes done. And it turns out that the spa that does my lashes is having like a private party, so I wasn't able to do it. So I decided to sit down and get some sushi. And I'm scrolling down my timeline. I had finished watching one of my classes in the School of Alchemy, and I'm scrolling down my timeline, and I see this video, or this, I don't know if it was a news station. Hey, Sarah, how are you? I don't know if it was a news station, but they were talking about this quote-unquote new trend called period parties. And I was listening to some of what they were talking about, and everybody had different opinions. Everybody had different perspectives. Some people thought it was too much. Some people thought it was great. There's all these different opinions on it, on these period parties. And the interesting thing is, earlier today, yes, ma'am. Yeah, go ahead. Thank you. What's interesting is, earlier today when I went to go get my nails done, I was talking to my nail tech, and she was saying that one of her clients was a lactation consultant. And she said that she asked her, she was like, hey, Damon, how are you? She was like, what is that? Because she had never heard of that, right? And so what I thought about, I'm looking at this video with period parties, and I'm thinking about this conversation that I had with her with about lactation consultants. And the crazy thing is, everybody thinks that these are new things. These are new trends. Period parties, a new period party. Here is the thing, okay? A lot of what we are seeing right now in terms of support systems for women, lactation consultants, period parties, or they're calling them period parties. They're actually called menarches. A menarche is a ceremony that you hold for a young lady when she first receives her period. Now, this is just something that I'm just now learning about, but I've been doing some studying and I've been doing some researching. This lady is looking at me like I said period parties. I said menarche, and she like straight up turned around and turned her nose like all the way up. We can tell who doesn't like her period. Okay. So, okay, y'all have to forgive me, right? Because I am growing and I am elevating and I am changing. But there are still definitely parts of me that need deliverance. And I don't really know if they need deliverance as much as I need to just go ahead and own them, right? Like, it is what it is. So anyway, the fact of the matter is, these are not new things. They're not new things. Lactation consultants, it's not a new thing. It's not a new trend. Menarches, or period parties, are not a new thing. Okay? If you sit down and you study the history of woman, which I have been doing a lot lately. So right now I am in the School of Alchemy as well as the School of Feminine Transformation. And I'm actually right now completing it's called the Well Woman Wisdom Practitioner certification. It's an 8-month course, and I'm completing that. And so as a part of that, I've been doing a lot of studying, just a lot of reading and understanding the history and the energy of woman. And what I find is, a lot of these things that people think are new, right? They think it's a new thing, it's a new trend. These are not new things. What we are looking at is a returning of the support systems that women used to have. If you study the history of ancient cultures, in the village, there were always women who were available to help the women learn how to feed their babies. There were always women who came together to celebrate the coming of age for young women as part of a rites of passage, right? So these are things that are not new. These are absolutely not new things. And the reason why we think that they are new is because even as women, we don't understand the history of woman. We don't understand the energetic history of woman. And when you don't understand your history, when you start to see things that are being made available to support you, you become judgmental. You think that they are fads. You think that, this is just something that people are doing because it's cool and it's fun and it's this and it's that. And it's none of that. What we are seeing now is literally a returning to the village. It is a reclamation of the support systems that women had prior to the villages being disbanded. It is a reclamation of the power of feminine collaboration and connection. It's the power of the things that happen, of what happens when we come together and when we support each other. And what was so interesting to me is that I was watching this news report, and a lot of the people who had negative things to say about the menarches or period parties, I really wish they wouldn't call them period parties. A lot of the people that had negative things to say about these support systems were women. But here's the thing. I can guarantee you, if you sit down in your circle of women and you ask them how they were brought into their moon time, how were they brought into their menstrual cycle, I can guarantee you that if you sit 10 women down, 9 women have a negative story about how they were brought into their moon time. 9 women have a negative story, a negative association with their menstrual cycles, with their period. And the problem with that is that as women, if we don't understand and respect our feminine cycle and begin to understand our feminine cycle, we don't understand ourselves. And in a lot of the new work that I'm doing, and a lot of the studying and the reading and just the meditation and the receiving and the receiving and the receiving, what I am finding is that even with myself, a lot of the internal issues that we have with ourselves and with other women stem from our view of our menstrual cycles. They stem from our view of our bodies. Because we don't fully understand what our bodies are energetically capable to do. And very soon, and some of you are going to receive an invite for this, I am actually planning for myself. And again, this is something I'm so thankful. If you're not familiar with the School of Feminine Transformation or the School of Alchemy, I really encourage you to check out their website. It's Baba Richard and Sri Namaste Moore at www.schoolofalchemy.love. If you go to that website, you'll find both the School of Alchemy as well as the School of Feminine Transformation. And I'm just so thankful for the things that I'm learning. But I'm planning right now, and some of you are going to get an invite to this, I am planning a reclamation ceremony for myself. I'm going to plan a reclamation ceremony for myself, and then I'm also going to plan a menarche ceremony for my daughter. Because the reclamation ceremony for a woman is supposed to be about the returning back into your body after having children, which is something that I never really fully did. It's something that I never fully embodied, right? Like, we have to understand that as women, when we are carrying a baby, when you are carrying a child, you literally are vacating your womb as well as your breast if you're breastfeeding for that period of time, right? So you have vacated your body. If you breastfed, I breastfed all 4 of my children. So if you are breastfeeding, you could literally be vacating your body for 1 to 2 years even after you have had the baby. And so we start to ask ourselves questions. You know, I hear a lot of women say this, and I've had conversations in the past with a lot of women. After I had children, I don't really enjoy sex anymore. After I had my babies, I don't really enjoy, you know, I don't really enjoy foreplay. I don't really get turned on. I have all of these different things, and they have all of these different body issues. And a lot of that, you know, we associate so many things to stress because that's what we are told. That's what the media tells us. That's what everybody tells us, that it's stress, it's stress, it's stress. But the facts of the matter is, you have to evaluate where that stress is coming from. And a lot of that stress is coming from the fact that after we give birth to our children, we never actually go back in and physically, energetically re-inhabit our bodies. And one of the things that I realized is when I started my first business, well, it wasn't my first business, but my primary business, which is Stronger You Fitness, Health, and Wellness. When I started that business, I started that business as a bodybuilder. And that's what I wanted to do. And I enjoyed that, right? Like I was always in the gym, and I just enjoyed what my body felt like, right? What I did not realize at the time was that one of the reasons why I was so connected to that, it was because it was a way of me inhabiting my body. And it had a lot to do with a lot of things. Let me just go ahead and you know what? Okay, I'll do it. Okay. So let's go ahead and drop some truth. There were two reasons why I stayed as a bodybuilder. There were two reasons for that. One of the reasons that I stayed as a bodybuilder is because it was a way for me to inhabit my body. It was a way for me to feel what was going on inside my body. Because I was having struggles with that. I was having problems with just feeling into myself and feeling into my body. The second reason why I stayed with bodybuilding for so long, and this is something that I had to come to grips with and tell the truth with myself. The second reason why I stayed a bodybuilder for so long is because doing competitions, in my mind, would keep me from getting fat. And that is because I grew up with a lot of self-image issues. When I was younger, I did not enjoy my body because I was always told that I was too skinny. My first marriage was to a preacher, and I was always told that I was too skinny. I was always compared to the thicker women who were in the church. This one has bigger breasts. This one has bigger boobs. God has endowed her with bigger booty, and therefore you need to be glad that I chose you, because God has presented this other thick and juicy package for me, and you are not it. So you need to be glad. And so I dealt with that. Right. And so even when I left and I came back to Houston, I had one of my best friends at the time told me that I was so skinny that I looked like a crackhead. And so what I did was I purposefully, thank you. I purposefully put weight on myself. I did that on purpose. Now at this point, I only had 2 children. Okay. 2 children. Okay. I purposefully put weight on myself because I thought that I was too skinny. So I would wake up, I literally drank 6 Ensures a day. I drank 6 of them a day. I ate baked potatoes for breakfast and for lunch, right? So I purposefully put this weight on my body. Years later, I get into another relationship. I have 2 children. And then what happened was, as that relationship was falling apart, which it was actually falling apart well before we even started having children. But again, that speaks to the level of how low my self-esteem was at the time. So we had 2 children. And then as I was deciding that I was ready to leave the relationship, I realized that I was pregnant. And at that time, with everything that I had going on, I decided very early in the pregnancy that I would end the pregnancy. It was a decision that I made. And I mean, very, very early. It was so early in the pregnancy that when I went to have the procedure done, I was crying so much. I didn't want to look at the ultrasound. So I've never seen an ultrasound of what that baby looked like. I didn't want to look at the ultrasound. And the woman told me, she said, "You are so early. You still have time. Would you like to leave?" She was like, "You can leave right now." And at that time, I told her that I was not going. I told her, I'm not going to leave. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this procedure today. And it was one of, that's another conversation in and of itself, because that was a very hard thing that I had to deal with. It was a choice that I made. It was a decision that I made. But I also had to take responsibility for the fact that I chose to not allow another embodiment of divinity to come through me, right? And that was an embodiment that I ended prior to. And so that was something that I really, really had issues with, and it was something that I had to deal with. But nonetheless, I made the decision to end the pregnancy. Well, what happened was when I ended the pregnancy, I still had a lot of the weight. Oh, you're welcome. When I ended the pregnancy, I still had a lot of the weight. And so what I did was, and again, this is years later, I hired a personal trainer, and she just so happened to be a bodybuilder, and I was so excited about it. I said I wanted to be a bodybuilder and all of these things, so I started my business, and I did that as a bodybuilder. And in my mind, okay, so understand, stay with me, because I know I'm talking a lot, but stay with me, because this is about, at the time, my inability to inhabit my body. So you remember now, I had 2 children, and then I had 2 more children, and then I had a pregnancy that I chose to terminate. So this is 5 different pregnancies, 5 different times, and in all of this time, I did not inhabit my body. Take that and add that to the fact that my menstrual cycle, my first menstrual cycle experience, was not a positive experience. And I grew up learning to view my menstrual cycle as a problem, as an inconvenience, as dirty, as filthy, as nasty, as just bloody. So you take that and you add that to the fact that I had these self-esteem issues, and you add that to the fact that I never really enjoyed my body because I was always told that there was something wrong with it, and then you add that to the fact that I had all of these children and I never went back to inhabit my body. And so now at this point, I'm looking for something. And at the time, I didn't realize what I was looking for, but I was looking for a way to connect with my body. I was looking for a way to feel, because of my past and the way that I was brought up and the marriage that I was in. I had to be hard. I had to be tough. I had to be numb, right? Because I wasn't allowed to have feelings. I wasn't allowed to feel. I wasn't allowed to feel sad. I wasn't allowed to feel bad. I wasn't allowed to feel angry. I wasn't allowed to feel any of that. And so what bodybuilding did for me at the time was it gave me an opportunity to feel. Okay? And what I didn't understand at the time is that I was using an external methodology to deal with an internal problem. I was using an external tool to deal with an internal problem. And so when the thrill of bodybuilding went away, and I realized one of the reasons why the thrill of bodybuilding went away is because there's no money in it. And I like money. I like money. I love to receive money. I love to make money. I love to spend money. I love to have money. I love to bathe in money. I love to look at money. I love to swim in money on my bed. I like to take money, take dollar bills and slap myself on the thigh and on the ass. Like, I love money. Okay, I will be at home in my bedroom making it rain on myself. Pop, 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 pop. I told y'all I used to be a dancer. If you didn't know that, like when I say dancer, I'm talking about a stripper. Okay, so I will go in my bedroom, okay, and take dollar bills and make it rain on myself. Okay, I love money. And so when I realized, that there was not really any money in bodybuilding, that was when a lot of the thrill for that went away. The problem with that is that as the thrill of bodybuilding started to go away, so did my ability to feel and to connect with my body. And so I started to have all kinds of issues, and I started to have all kinds of manifestations because of my inability to really inhabit my body. And so it wasn't until I started taking these classes and I started, I was in the school and I started going through the certification that I realized that one of the reasons why I had such a hard time connecting with my body was because I had grown up having a hard time connecting with my cycle, and in my cycle lies my feminine essence. And so when you look at these, and when you look at these videos and you look at these news reports and they're like, oh, period parties are stupid. No, period parties are not stupid, because what you are doing is you are teaching your princess that there's nothing wrong with her body. You are teaching your princess that her body is beautiful. You are teaching your princess that she has been given the precious and God-given ability to give life. Your princess has the ability to be a portal through which another embodiment of the divine source can come through her. That is an amazing thing, and that is a beautiful thing. And now she can enter into the circle of womanhood. She can enter into the circle where we are understanding our bodies and understanding the cycle of life and understanding the cycle of the world and understanding the cycle of energy and understanding the cycle of the moon and understanding, and she gets to have access to all of this esoteric knowledge. She gets to have access to all of this great and beautiful womanly wisdom that is only reserved for women. And so I wanted to do this video because, you know, and I've seen a lot of people on my video, on my timeline, repost that, and so many women have so many negative opinions on that. And I want to help to reframe your idea of what this is. These are not new things. These are not new concepts. This is literally a returning to the village. This is a returning of all of the wonderful support systems that we lost as women when they disbanded the village. So anyway, I hope that was helpful. I really do. I hope that was helpful. And what I want you to do is if you're interested in this and you want to learn more, go to my website. I have a free class. It is totally free. I just did it the other day. Just transmitted it the other day. It's called MoonTime Health and Consciousness. If you go to my website, www.themermaidswisdom.com, and click on that first button that says watch the video, fill out the information, and then you'll get an email that sends you the password to get into the video. I want you to watch that. It's called MoonTime Health and Consciousness. And it's where I taught about the menstrual cycle and what it means energetically, even beyond a physical and hormonal perspective, what it actually means energetically and what it means to start connecting with what woman is. Because that is where we find the real empowerment. That is where we find real empowerment. That is where our magic is. And even for women who are no longer actually physically menstruating, you are still a part of the cycle. You are still a part of the cycle. You have a different kind of wisdom for the women who are menstruating. And you have an energetic responsibility to foster that. So again, I just want to encourage you, when you see lactation consultants and you see period parties, don't be disrespectful. Peace and blessings, Master Fee. Don't be disrespectful. Don't be disrespectful, especially not as a woman, because if you disrespect that practice, you are disrespecting yourself. You are disrespecting yourself. Our girls deserve. You understand me? They deserve. And I know that there's this thing now with people that are like, oh my God, these children are so entitled. You don't want to know the reason why they're so entitled? The reason why they're so entitled is because everybody in generations who came before them fucked up shit. And because you all fucked up shit, they have a right to be mad at you. They have a right to have a problem with you. They have a right to not want to go to college. You want to know why? Because y'all fucked up the system. And now when they go to college, they'll come out $100,000 in debt and somebody will offer them a job for $12.33. You're damn right they don't want to go to college. So yes, our girls deserve to be brought into their womanhood in peace and in joy and in passion and in pleasure. And they deserve to be shown how beautiful it is. And they deserve to be supported. And they deserve to be held. And they deserve, now watch this, I'm going to say this just came through, I'm going to go ahead and say it. Some of you don't want to do it because some of you are secretly jealous of the girls who are younger than you. And there is no judgment, there is no good, bad, right, or wrong. But this is just an opening and an awakening for you to check yourself. You don't want to bring them into the circle of womanhood because you felt like you weren't brought into the circle of womanhood. And you don't want her to know what you know, because if she learns that what you know, then she'll be able to look at you and realize, you know what, you're not really on your shit either. And you don't want her to have access to that. And that's the reason why you look at quote unquote period parties and you have a problem with it. So some of you will receive an invitation. I am planning. It's a reclamation party for myself. It's going to be me celebrating re-inhabiting my body after having children. It's going to be a beautiful thing. Like, it's going to be beautiful and it's going to be amazing and it's going to be small and it's going to be intimate and there might be a stripper pole in there somewhere. By the way, remember I tell y'all I always win the best stuff? I always win. Let me tell you something. So last week I went to Aaron. Greetings, Christy. How are you, sister? Last week I went to Aaron Creek's hashtag Girls Night Out at I forgot where it was at, but it was through Miss Independent, right? So I tell you I always win stuff. So I get there and I'm doing the they're doing the raffle, and guess what I won? I won 3 hours of a party bus with a stripper pole in the middle. Pow pow. Yes. So yes, so I will have to figure out some kind of way to incorporate that party bus with the pole in my reclamation party, my reclamation ceremony. Peace, greetings, sister. Into my reclamation ceremony. I'm telling you, I always win. Let me tell you all something. I'm gonna tell you two things. I never pay for parking. I never have to park far when I don't want to. And I always win the best stuff. I'm telling you, I was getting ready to leave hashtag Girls Night Out. And I was like, you know what? Let me stay. And let me tell you something. They kept pulling my ticket so many times. They were like, you know what? No, she's already won. So then watch this. Hold on. So then that was the general raffle. So I won one prize in the general raffle. That was when I won the party bus with the stripper pole in the middle of it. Okay. 3 hours on the party bus. We're going to figure out how to incorporate that. Okay. Boom. Pow, pow, pow. Don't be surprised if I have few clothes on, because y'all know that's how I do. So so there was that. Okay. So then there was a company there that had their own raffle, and it was like $250 worth of skincare products. Guess whose name got pulled? Mine. Right? So I promise you all, I swear, when I tell you I never pay for parking, I don't know what it is. I will go to a place and the parking will be paid. And for whatever reason or another, when I drive up to the gate opens. I swear to God, I have done videos on this several times. If you go back on my personal page and you check some of my videos, ask my children. My children know I don't pay for parking. Like, it is the craziest thing. It's the craziest thing. I don't pay for parking. And I kid you not, anytime I go somewhere, if I don't feel like walking that far to the door, I will sit there and I will be like, you know what? I don't really feel like walking. And I promise you, on everything that I know, somebody will pull. Okay, well, go ahead then. Yes. Go ahead and rev the engine. You better do that. Yes. Okay. So, so I promise you, I would be like, you know what? I don't really feel like walking that far today. And a car will pull out of one of the parking spots that's sitting right there in the front of the building. I promise to God. Like, it happens every single time. Mom says, I want to come next event where the parking is free, especially, I'm telling you, it's happened to me twice downtown in the last 30 days. 2 times downtown, I went to pull up to the gate and the gate just opened. And then yesterday, now watch this. Yesterday, I went somewhere and the gate was just open. Like, the gate was just, I'm telling y'all, I don't ever pay for parking. It's the craziest thing. It's the craziest thing. But anyway, I will be having a reclamation ceremony. And I will be, I'll be sending out some invitations to that once that is actually, once that's actually planned. And then once I have my own reclamation ceremony, then I'm actually also going to host a menarche, for my daughter. So that she can understand, and and I teach her things at home as I'm learning, We both have our MoonTime care boxes, and we both have MoonTime rituals, and all the men in our house support us during that time. I mean, it's a beautiful and amazing thing. But if you want to learn, I mean, if you're interested in that, go check it out. It's a free class. It's totally free. I promise it's free. www.themermaids with an S, themermaidswisdom.com. If you click on that button that says watch the MoonTime Health and Consciousness class, click that button. You'll pop your information in. You'll get a video with the password that lets you unlock the video, and you can watch it. I think it was like a 2-hour video, like a 2-hour teaching that I did this past weekend, and it was beautiful and it was amazing, and all of the women who were on that teaching said that it was very helpful to them. They said that they were going to share it with their daughters, and they were very thankful and appreciative to receive that knowledge. But I think it's important as women that we start to reconnect with ourselves, reconnect with our bodies, and to start understanding that these are support systems. These are not new fads. These are not things that people are just doing to make money. These are actual real support systems. And it's so funny because when you're not used to being supported, everything looks like a scam. Everything looks like a scam. You hear somebody say, lactation consultant, oh, she gets paid to play with people's titties all day. Like, that's so, you understand? You say things like that because you don't understand. Because you don't understand what it is. You don't understand what it's like. I breastfed my first 2 sons, but there was some time in between my second son and my daughter, who was my third child. When I had my daughter, I needed some assistance with breastfeeding. I needed assistance, and I didn't have anybody. My mom didn't support me because at the time my brother was living with me, and he had gotten back with his old girlfriend, and she didn't like his old girlfriend, so she felt betrayed, and so she made the whole thing about her, so she didn't support me. The man that I was with at the time did not support me, so I was in this by myself. I did not have that village. When I had my first menstrual cycle, it was after basketball practice. I was off the bus. It was raining. I actually tried, honestly and true, and I wrote this, I actually tried to kill myself the day that I got my menstrual cycle. I tried to kill myself. I wanted to die. Literally, I walked into the street and I was trying to get cars to run over me. That day. And as a 12-year-old child, I did not deserve that. I did not deserve to have that experience. Now, I'm thankful for that experience because that made me very cognizant of making sure that my daughter's first experience was absolutely nothing like mine. But the fact of the matter is, I tried to kill myself that day. There was a girl somewhere on this planet who has killed herself on the first day of her cycle. It has happened. And it is because we don't treat it with respect. And we don't honor her during that time. And she begins to feel like that's just one more thing that makes her unworthy. It's just one more thing that makes her dirty. It's just one more thing that makes her less than a man. So I just wanted to do this video just to give you a little bit of a different perspective on that. If this was helpful, please like it, please share it. I really appreciate it. Sharing is caring. That'd be awesome. And if you don't share, it's totally cool, but I would like for you to share because, whatever, I'm a very big personality and I like to be seen, because I think I'm cute. I'm actually kind of a little upset because it's dark out here. You can't see my lip gloss. Oh my God, I don't have earrings on. Girl, what are you doing? My goodness. Okay, that's okay. We'll have to fix that another time. But anyway, so that's it. That's all that I had to say. I love you, love you, love you all. Love you, love you, love you all. And stay tuned. I have an ebook that's coming out. I was thinking that it was going to come out in the next week or so, but I'm receiving so much for that ebook. It's going to be a lot bigger than what I thought it was. It's going to be called MoonTime Health and Consciousness, and it is about reframing the way that we see our menstrual cycles. Yes, Christy says the majority of my friends said that they felt shame in the onset of the period. Yeah, in the first period. Yep. So yeah, so it's going to be about reconnecting with our moon cycles and understanding menstrual health and consciousness. So be on the lookout for that. Oh, thank you, Christy. So be on the lookout for that. It was I had originally said 2 weeks, but I think it's going to be a lot bigger of a project than I had originally anticipated. So be on the lookout for that. Again, if you want to see that class, it's totally free. MoonTime Health and Consciousness, www.themermaids with an S wisdom.com, and then click on the button that says watch the MoonTime Health and Consciousness class. You'll get an email with the password to get into the video, and that'll be that. Okay, so I love you all. Thank you so much for your time and your attention. I want you to know I really, really, really appreciate that, and never, ever, ever, ever do I take that for granted. I'm so thankful for your time and your attention and just your support as I grow and I move on this journey. Okay, so I love you all, and I wish you all love, peace, and joy, and passion and pleasure in everything that you do. Peace out. Bye-bye.